So have you got FOMO? Maybe you have, maybe you have not. Have you anticipated this rally? Did you buy the dips, which I did talk about, or have you sold the rift, which I've also talked about? In this video, we're going to talk about how to survive this and also what is coming this week. Market sentiment, it's an interesting video. There's some big things happening. Before I go on, feel free to skip this bit, but I am changing my channel a little bit. These videos will be live from next week. So Tuesday, market sentiment, the overall market will be live. Wednesday, I'm going to be doing altcoin analysis, also live. Why not? Thursday will be traditional market stuff, so maybe the CPI live whenever that falls, dividend stocks, all that kind of good stuff. If you want more content, check out Patreon. My education stuff is going to go on the Learning Crypto channel. Join it. There's going to be a lot coming. I'm excited. Anyways, moving on. So, we've got a lot of things happening this week. We've had the market closed yesterday. Nothing's happened. We have got Silvergate earnings coming up very soon. They are a big liquidity provider for crypto. 80% of that was actually FTX. That's kind of went a bit downwards. A lot of banks will probably turn over some earnings that may not be very, very good. There's also a load of layoffs still happening, and this market has moved massively. Makes you ponder why. Shall we have a little look at the chart and let's have a little gander? Yeah, let's go for it. So as I started off before, look at the amount of information on this screen. A lot. A lot's happening this week, so please be bloody careful. Now, let's talk about a few things. As I mentioned before, we have a lot of earnings, as you can see. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Also follow this account if you're wondering. Earning Whisperers. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. Both have come out with some interesting statements recently about recessions and how things are kind of similar to 2007, 2008, 2009. Very, very interesting. But Silvergate's the main one for crypto. That, as I said before, it's coming out today, very, very soon. In the next hour or so, it will be happening. I'm going to be putting this video pretty much straight to go once it's done. So, let's see how the market reacts today. The market has gone up and down a little bit. Not much liquidity though. And ultimately it's come back down because the market was shut yesterday. As I alluded to, layoffs are still increasing. There's only been 17 days of this year so far and there's already loads. So big, wonder why. So it's interesting. But the one thing that I put on my Patreon before, feel free to check out my Discord in there. I do a lot of journals and this was one of my pondering thoughts last night. What if? This is a hidden bullish divergence on the stable currency dominance chart. Okay, now if we zoom out and just have a little look at that, we are in a bit of a range, you probably would say. What if we just start correcting back up again? That would indicate the market has pulled back. I personally think, not financial advice of course, my personal opinion, this market will pull back and that will give us the proof in the pudding. Will it sustain or will it just melt lower? I personally want to pull back. I want it to pull back to go higher. Don't mix this up as a bearish video. I've been saying for a while, I've been buying these low levels, right? Please don't get mixed up. It's kind of a bit annoying when I've got to defend what was right. If this market pushes back and then we go even higher, wow. But I do not think we're out of the woods yet. I think we could be under a little bit of scrutiny from the market makers if this is a retail push, because I won't know how to handle it. If the money comes back in, could be fun. So that is an important chart at the moment. Keep an eye on it. But let's look at BTC, right? This is the chart that I've just literally planned out and had a little play about with on my Patreon as my Tuesday video. Okay, fundamentals are clear. This has not pushed back at all yet. But look at where the levels are. Look at where they could be demand at roughly the 382 level and the obvious 618 levels. I have taken some profit. I have put some orders back lower to accumulate some units. If I miss these orders, it doesn't matter. It's just a small sniffer. It doesn't really matter. But if you are getting FOMO right now at these levels of resistance, just be careful because this is the make or break situation. This is a time where you've got to sit on your hands and just chill and relax. For me, this is going to probably come back down at some point. Don't know how low. It may only come down a little bit. It may only come down to 19k and then continue going higher, maybe to retest 24k. That would be very nice. We may well also consolidate for a long, long time. We don't know. But don't get too excited. I don't think this is a bull market just yet. Other things to look at. The total market cap. Okay, cool. Yeah. Got some, I'll remove that box because you'll probably be confused. Again, no pullback. Big interesting areas. Even here, a very, very big interesting areas. But as I say with FOMO, if you're buying up here with spot and you are not prepared for any downside, it's going to hurt, right? You're going to be thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? Then you sell your position at a loss. Oh, it's not good. So you have to be very, very careful. Now, in terms of everything else, right? The S&P 500. It's been closed yesterday. Whenever we tend to come off a bank holiday in America, they tend to rip us a new one somewhere. It's always quite hard when that does happen, so just be careful. This is at psychological levels, roughly 4,000 levels. Round number, big juicy one. If I zoom out, you can see it is a nice little area. It's also the 618 levels of this pullback. This could be interesting. If this rips down, it could be fun. Why would it rip down? Earnings. If the earnings are bad with these banks and all the other stuff that's coming out this week, it could be a brutal week. And we know what happens with crypto. It follows this to a T because of liquidity. If they're going to do it, it's going to do it this way. Sorry, a bit bearish. But in my opinion, probability is telling us one thing and one thing only. This market will either do one or two things. Pull back and go higher, pull back or continue going lower. So we need a pullback, boys and girls. Simple as that. I will not be looking to ape into anything until we genuinely get a pullback. But when we go back in time and look at previous levels, now we've got to look at the obvious here as well. We've had a lot of decline. And the one thing that happened here, we declined this big move, the FTX move, and we've pulled it back up pretty quickly. That may just be a liquidity gap and we may well have filled it, hence why we're up here. There may be a ton of bears up here waiting just to strike when the market makers who have pulled this up have pulled themselves out of it. Be careful, retail traders. Now, again, we've had this before in the past. We've had pulls to the upside, then deviated right the way down. This does not mean we are in a bull cycle, boys and girls. We are very much away from that. Put on the EMA 55 and the EMA 21. You can see how on the 3-day time frame we are still, looking at this sort of level of interest. We are only just above them right now, but we haven't closed above them fully, and also we haven't had a crossover yet. So there's still a long way to go. Even if we look at the weekly time frame of BTC, yes, we can go and retest the EMA 55 all the way up here. We've only just got over the EMA 21 for the first time in a very, very long time. Still a lot of things to happen before we get really, really excited. So just be careful in this market right now. It could be very, very bullish if we do certain things, but we haven't done them yet. We've not broken out yet. We've not pulled back yet. So please bear that in mind. One final thing to look at before I go, and yeah, the dollar. The dollar is looking interesting now. If you are a bull, the one thing you do not want it to do is bounce from this point, especially if you're looking at certain parameters around earnings and what it means for like the yen, for example. The yen is pretty powerful at the minute, which means expensive, exports may well stop spending for a bit. Okay, so bear that in mind. Now with this, obviously a push to the upside will indicate that something has changed fundamentally. We have pulled back quite a lot, but doesn't mean that it's not going to just push back up a bit. It may well change. There may well be some historic levels of resistance right now on the FX pairs, which will obviously impact the dollar. So bear that in mind. Anyways, if you're new around here, make sure you are subscribed, hit the bell button. I will be doing more live streams because I have decided to do that. And check out the Learning Crypto channel, which I will tell you will be good because it's got education on it. See you later.